everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to the Dice Tower. And today I'm going to continue going through my top 100 games of all time from 25 years. It's been a long time ago now. This is 21 years ago, 2005. Everything is starting to blur together for me. We're cracking the top 50 here. Today we're talking about 50 to 41. But I will say, as I'm going through this, if ever there is a showing how my tastes have changed, I think this 10 really, there's been a lot of shifts in this 10. There's a couple that I still really like to this day, but there's a lot that well, you'll see. So we're just going to jump right into it. So first we have Princes of the Renaissance. Now, I would not be surprised if you've not heard of this game. This is from Martin Wallace. The original game looked like this. Not particularly a amazing looking feature there. But this Martin Wallace game really fascinated me at the time, because what would happen is you were fighting, you were like a minor medieval person, and there would be like these different wars in cities, and you were bidding on which side of the war to fight in. All different things. This was like, I had played Age of Steam up to this point, and this felt like such a different game. It was so unusual, so unique. It just really enamored me. 20 years later, I look at it and I go, that is unusual, unique, but I don't know if I particularly think it's as much fun as I did back then. So that's kind of the biggest difference now. But yeah, that's my number 41. It was on my list till 2010, where it was 116 and then dropped out of sight forever. Then it was 2009 it dropped off, and it was 140. I'm reading my list backwards. Okay, number 49, Die Macher. So Die Macher here is a game which it's still in print, I think. The version you see here is the Stronghold version, which they reprinted. Notice this game is from 1986. It's a very old game. It's from Karl-Heinz Schmiel and can be actually traced to the beginning of these Euro-style games. And in fact, as an odd note, no particular reason, but on Board Game Geek, this is entry number 1, the first game that was ever put on. And this was, I believe, this is what one of the original. That's the Valley Games version of it. I don't remember what the original one looked like. That was the first. Oh, it might have been this one. I don't know. But this is about the German elections, and there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a very big, long, grandiose game. I think it's very good. I don't know that it's worth the 4 hours that it takes to play. I do know they streamlined it a bit recently, and now it can be played in 3 hours. The last time this was on my list was 2011, where it was 68. I still think very highly of this game. Give me unlimited time, I would jump in. I wonder if games like Hegemony kind of have taken the spot of this, but it's not quite the same thing either. And it also was, to me, a very unique look at the German elections. So, Die Macher. Number 48 is Modern Art, and this is a game that I've completely changed on. This was, like I said, number 48. In the year 2009, it was 245. And it's not even in my top thousands now. I get Modern Art. There's a lot of benefits to it. I can't remember what version I got first. It might have been this one. This is the newest one, maybe, the one that they're showing here from Simon, where you have all these different cards, art cards, and you're bidding on them. This system, I was enamored when it first came out. I'm like, there's all different ways to auction. You can auction once a round. You can blind auction. You can just do the yelling out auction type thing, which had been up to that moment most of the only auctions I had seen in games. And then, of course, with the Modern Art motif on top of it. But it just really hasn't held for me. There's just too much. One person can make another person lose, and not because of good play, but because of bad play. And so I get a lot of people really like it. It's very highly ranked here on Board Game Geek. It's 220. It's just not one that I really like that much anymore. I don't hate it, but as you can see here, my rating is a 6 out of 10, which is not top 100 material. For getting a top 100 nowadays, you kind of have to be a 9 out of 10 or so. Next is another game that you may not have heard of called La Città. This game was 47, and it was on my list 2009. It was 165, and then not to be seen again. Now, this was remade by La Città. This is a newer version of it, 2024. Um, it's as far as I can tell, it's mostly the same game. But this is a game that when I first played, I was like, wow, look at this board. I know it doesn't look like much here in the year 2026, but at the time I was like, wow, there's mountains and you're putting things in between them, and there's still kind of you're trying to get your population and you have to feed your people, which at the time I thought was a novel, interesting concept. I still would play this game today, but it's very, very, I think, fragile of a game and not one that would come close to my top 100. Now, that being said, the next game is my number 46, Battle Line. So this was 179 in 2021. It's been in my top several hundred for many years. In 2017, it was 81. This year, 2026, it did not hit my top 250, but I could easily see it doing so. And frankly, when you get down to 250, it's kind of wibbly wobbly there. But I have it ranked here as a 9, which means maybe it should be close to my top 100 at least, for sure. And maybe just because I haven't played it in a while. But Battle Line is a great two-player game. So this is one I think has really held up over the test of time. Now, this was originally a game called Schottentotten, which this is the new version of it, I believe. This was the original version here, where you had a bunch of Scottish people fighting over these different stones. And I'm showing you lots of different versions of this. I don't remember what the original one looked like exactly. GMT remade it as Battle Line, which then Yellow remade as Schottentotten. Again, but Battle Line added some special ability cards, which I first did not like, but grew to really enjoy them. And then Schottentotten took those special cards and added them back into that. Either way, if you like a game called Lost Cities, this has some similarities. You're basically building mini poker hands at different spots and trying to build the better hand. And if you can prove your opponent cannot build a better hand, then you can take the stone and you want a certain number of stones in a row or a certain number of stones overall. It is a fantastic game. Number 45 for me is still my top 100 today. This is Balderdash. Of course, my Balderdash originally looked like this. Laugh, learn, and lie. Balderdash today is 74 on my list. I still think it's a fantastic game. Now, you'll notice this was re-implemented here by Absolute Balderdash, which made some changes. And then Beyond Balderdash, which really made a lot of changes, adding different categories like movies, which I loved. And then they eventually folded that back into Balderdash. So if you buy this version of Balderdash, you are essentially buying Beyond Balderdash. It's all the same game. There's a lot of games that do this now. I mean, the Jackbox games have made this incredibly popular, but it's not called Balderdash. And before Balderdash, people just played a thing called the dictionary game. But this is still apps. I remember this from my childhood. I still love to play this today. Love this game, Balderdash. Then number 44 is Pirates Cove. So Pirates Cove, when it came out, it was like, what is this game? Pirate ships. You had these big pirate boards in front of you. Let me see if I can find a picture of that. You definitely did this big pirate. There's the boards. You can see them on the sides of this picture where you had rings and you were upgrading your ship. And then you simultaneously selected where you're going to go in this game. So it was 44 back then. And it was 155 in 2009 and then kind of disappeared off my lists. I still like this game. I still think it's good. This is one of the games I think I would love to see a complete rehaul over reprinting of it. Paul Randall's one of the designers. I think did a fantastic job. He has since passed away. But this is the game that, for me, put Days of Wonder on the map. I love the pieces. I love the piratey theme. So it has a soft spot in my heart. Number 43 is Keythedral. There are so many games out there now for keys. The key something. This was not even the first one, but this one intrigued me because octagon tiles. I mean, that was kind of just a neat thing to see. They had little squares in between them, and the whole goal of this game was to build a Keythedral. And you had these different laws that would come into play. You were changing cubes and other cubes. And again, a lot of this stuff today feels dated, but at the time, this felt very fresh to me. So this was on my list till 2010, where it was 124. I don't know that it would be there today, but I do want to get this one back to the table and see how it compares to the more modern key games. Number 42 is Reef Encounter. Now, this was the original look of Reef Encounter, and then Z-Man Games made it. And then this is What's Your Game, who made it after that. And this is another game from the same designer as Keythedral, actually, Richard Breese. He didn't make this one in the Key series. And this, I think, well, this was only on my list till 2010, where it was 55 and then disappeared off my list. But I kind of almost want to go back and try this one again because this game has such a unique feel to it. The closest game I would put to this would be Tigers and Euphrates, because what you're doing in this game is you are building reefs out there with your little parrotfish on them and trying to attack and go after other people's reefs. The weight here on Board Game Geek is interesting, a complexity at 3.68, because there's so many things going on in this game. Although it did lead to some silliness where there's like 11 different actions you can pick from. And one of those actions is do nothing. And you're like, well, I'll do that action. Now I'm going to do this action. Just some oddities there. But I love the theming of this, the growing of the reefs. So I haven't played this one in years. And it's not for everybody. It's definitely mean as all get out. And probably wouldn't make my top 100 anywhere near it today. But I have some fond memories of it. And finally, today, we're going to take a look at Goa. Now, this is not what the original Goa looked like. This was the original Goa. Goa is a game that actually is being reprinted now. I believe a new version of it's coming out. And there was a board with these different tiles on them, and you're putting numbers on them, claiming them, auction. Now, this is not a game that looks that cool. This was on my top 100 list till 2010. Apparently, I made a lot of changes in 2010. Where it was 116, and maybe the new version will bring it back. But the thing about Goa that for me like blew my mind was it had technology tracks. With these tracks, you moved up, and they made all your actions better. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Now, this is something I still love in games today. When you have I call it technology, where you basically can move and make things better. Just played one yesterday that had that same thing, and I always love that concept. But for Goa, it just really rang true. It was a fun game, a lot involved. It wasn't the prettiest of games, but it felt unique and fresh and different. So I really did love the game, and it was my number 41. And there you go, folks. We got 40 games left to go through over the next several weeks. Thanks so much for watching this. I like going back and look at these games and remembering what they were like. Should I go back and play some of them? Going through today's list, I'm like, Keythedral, Reef Encounter, Goa, kind of in the mood to play those three again. And it's probably time to bring Battle Line back to the table. A lot of the other ones, though, I don't know if I'll ever play them again. Just that's the way it goes sometimes. Well, we'll see. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel. I'll see y'all. Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and I hope you enjoyed this video.